Hello everyone, Professor Toybox here, and I'd like to welcome you back to my Prop Wash Junction toy box. I've got Luke Skywalker here with me, and today we're going to create an aerial two-player dogfighting game. Of course, two players can just attack each other at any time, but I kind of thought it'd be nice to keep track of the number of kills for each player and set up a meaningful victory condition. You can actually use this same setup to build any kind of two-player deathmatch. So this is ridiculously easy to make, so we will go ahead and do that. But first I want to do just a little bit of cleanup here. We're going to need two challenge makers in this toy box. So we're going to go ahead and move this one for the jet race that we built last time. And move this over here, about like so. And then we'll go ahead and put down the second one for the death match that we're going to make. Now, we've got two challenge makers here, and it'll be kind of tough to remember which one is which after a period of time. So we're going to put down a couple of decorations to help us remember which challenge maker is which. Before the Disney Infinity servers were shut down, of course, you could just put some text in there so that when you stepped onto the platform, you'd be able to tell what the challenge was. But since we can't do that anymore, I think we'll just put down a couple of decorations. So this little checkered flag decoration here, I think, will serve to remind me of the fact that that's for the race. And I think there's a couple of things we can do here. Maybe the little pirate flag. That'll remind me that this one's for the death match. Now the only other things we need for the death match are a couple more creative controls. So we've got the challenge maker. Next thing we need is a scoreboard, which will keep track of the number of kills for each player. We'll put that here. And we also need a victory tracker, and this will keep track of which player's been defeated and which player gets credit for the kill. And we'll put that here. And then we'll need a couple of locators for the player's starting positions. So we'll go ahead and put one out over this direction, above the ground a little bit. And let's see if I got the orientation correct. Nope. So I want to spin that around. And then we'll put a second one up on the other side of the airport for the other player. And put that right here, facing the other way. So when the challenge starts, the two players will be facing each other. So now we'll come down here and let's set the properties first. So all of that looks pretty good by default. For the challenge type, we're going to go ahead and make this a helicopter challenge. You can make this any kind of challenge you want, of course. If you want to just have an on-foot death match, you can do that. Let's see, do toy box and the attack copter again. If you want to be just in the jets, you can do that. If you want anything where they can be on foot, in the air, or whatever, I mean, it's pretty flexible as to what you can set up for this. Alright, so now we'll connect our locators. Player 1's starting position will be over here, like so. And player 2 will be the other one. I remember playing different deathmatch type games with my dad when I was in college many years ago. And not to date myself, but we liked to play Doom and Quake and Duke Nukem 3D, Half-Life, some other things. And we always had a lot of fun, he and I, doing that, so it's kind of nice to be able to do something similar in the toy box. Go ahead and set up the score results for the scoreboard. So at the end we can see what the number of kills are. And when the invites are accepted and the challenge starts, we'll go ahead and reset the scoreboard. And when the game is over, we will remove the scoreboard from the display since we won't need that anymore. And for the victory tracker, on invites accepted, we'll go ahead and activate that. And oops, when the game is over, we'll go ahead and deactivate that. So now we'll look at the victory tracker, and when defeated, player 1 is, go over to the scoreboard and increment the score by 1 kill for player 2. So he gets credit for that kill. And when defeated, player 2 is, we'll go to the scoreboard and increment by 1 the score for player 1. Okay, so that takes care of that. So now as the game starts, the victory tracker comes alive. It keeps track of who's killing who, updates the scoreboard. Let's go ahead and set the scoreboard properties. So you can play to any number that you want. I would probably normally set this to 5 kills, but for purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and set it to 2. Having the display on so you can see the number of kills for each player is good. Hiding the unused score fields is good, so that all looks good. So last thing we need to do is when the target score is reached, we come back over here and complete the game. And I think that should do it. So invites accepted and game ended turns these on and off. And we've got the properties set up for everything, so that should be all we need to do. As I said, this is really easy to set up. So we'll pop Luke out here. Now in order to be able to test this, we need a second player. And although I don't actually have a second human player here, I do have an extra figure and an extra controller. And since I'm used to playing death matches with my dad, Luke's going to get to do the same. So here comes Darth Vader. And we'll have a father-son death match here. Not that my dad was, of course, anything like Darth Vader, but here we go. Okay, so we'll go ahead and step on the challenge maker. Invite the others to join, and Darth Vader will view invites and accept the invite, and here we go. The start of the 2-player aerial deathmatch. Both players are on the opposite sides of the airfield facing each other, and we'll do Luke first. We'll test his counter first. Oop, missed. There's one hit. Boy, that took a lot of health out. Second hit. Looks like 3 kills will be enough in these helicopters. 3 hits to make a kill. Oops. Of course, you gotta be able to hit him. Okay, so now Vader is down, and you can see from the scoreboard at the top middle of the screen, player 1's score is incremented by 1. So now we'll test out and make sure Darth Vader's score is going to work out right. So we'll come over here to Darth and do the same thing, basically. So 1 hit, 2 hits, oops, a miss, and 3. Oh my, I'm gonna have to have another actually. Alright. Another miss. Boy, Vader's not a real good target. Okay, so now Luke is down and been killed, and now you can see from the scoreboard there that both players have 1 kill. So now we'll come back to Luke. Of course, we can't let Dad win, especially not when Dad is Darth Vader, so Luke will get the final score here. These are kind of hard to aim. There we go. So the challenge is over. And we can see the score. Luke got 2, Vader got 1. And when we hit exit, of course it drops them out where they happen to be, since we didn't send up an end location. But we could do that if we chose. So there you have it. It's a 2-player deathmatch in helicopters. And of course you can set that up to be on foot, and then you can just run up and start shooting and do the lightsabers and the whole bit. So deathmatch is pretty flexible. I set mine up to be a helicopter only, but you can set yours up any way you want. So hopefully you've enjoyed this little video, and you can go set up your own death matches in your toy boxes and have fun with your brother or your dad or whoever you want to play with. And hope you've enjoyed this. Subscribe to my channel to see future videos that we do, and you can visit my blog for build tips and logic diagrams for each of these different challenges that we make. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.